5 months ago, I separated my shoulder playing hockey, and in this video, I'm going to share what I've done to rehab it. Now, even if you haven't separated your shoulder, but you're dealing with another nagging AC joint injury, I do believe that a lot of what I share in this video may be of benefit to you. Now, it's important to know I'm not a doctor, a physician, a physical therapist, a physiotherapist, or any kind of rehab specialist. I'm simply sharing my experiences of what I found have helped me through this rehab process. It's also important to note that every single AC joint injury or shoulder separation is unique to each individual depending on how the trauma occurred. Now, I experienced a second-degree shoulder separation, so you may be able to see the difference in my shoulders just standing natural here, but in the shoulder, you can definitely notice it. You can see it popping out here. So it's a second-degree separation. So what happens with a second-degree shoulder separation is that ligament that holds the clavicle, the collarbone, to the acromion process, which is a part of the scapula, the shoulder blade there. So the AC joint is the acromion process, and where the clavicle meets up with it, that ligament that holds it together is completely ruptured. It's completely torn. And another ligament that holds it in place is partially torn. So some people, that partial tear is a little bit more extreme than others, but what really matters is like what is going on with the rest of your body. How did that trauma occur? For myself personally, playing hockey, I was driving to the net, getting ready to shoot the puck. A guy accidentally tripped me. I slid into the boards hard. So not only did it separate my shoulder, but it also caused a lot of trauma to this entire right side of my body. My neck muscles, like my traps from the base of my skull, all the way down to my shoulder, all the way down my back here, the rhomboids, my pecs were cramping up, my arms, like my biceps, my triceps, my shoulder, like a lot of muscles were injured pretty good there, in addition to separating the shoulder. So that really plays a role in the rehab process, what I need to focus on improving during this time. So initially, those first 3 days, all I did was rest. I had my arm in a sling, applied some ice to it, and on the third day, just experiencing such discomfort, especially with the trap muscles there, I started doing some trigger point release therapy using the Beastie Ball and the hook from Rumble Roller. There are so many other devices out there that do a similar job to this. Basically finding the trigger points, those knots in the traps there, and pulling on it hard to, while relaxing those muscles and allowing them to release. You could actually see the muscles trembling when they were releasing there, but it provided instant relief. When those muscles, the pecs, the traps are all tight and knotted up, it was just pulling on that collarbone even more and causing more discomfort at that joint. So doing that self-massage, that trigger point release therapy, with the Beastie Ball for my pec, my shoulders, my arms, I was using a lacrosse ball. You can either go on the corner of a wall or a door frame there, and doing some self-massage there. Again, the release, the muscles, you could see them releasing when I found those trigger points there. I was holding it for 30 to 90 seconds until it like completely released. Like once I experienced the relief from that, that played a huge role. So if you're dealing with even just a normal AC joint injury that you're trying to rehab, I would be massaging pecs, shoulders, triceps, biceps, and the traps for sure to provide some relief there. That would be step number one. Also on day number 3, I started doing some resistant bands exercises to strengthen up the rotator cuff muscles. So external rotation, internal rotation, shoulder extension. Those were beneficial to building up that strength as much as possible. And also in that first week, I still continued to train my legs. I trained legs 3 times that week, and I really find it's beneficial in so many different ways. Number one, it's very easy to throw yourself a pity party, to sit on the couch thinking, oh God, now I'm holding myself back. There's so much I want to do, and this injury is just preventing me from doing a lot of what I want to do, but there's still so much more you can do. I really look at these as an opportunity to learn and grow and improve in other aspects. I'm like, this is a great opportunity to just build my legs and really focus on other areas that could use a little extra attention right now. So that when I'd go do my leg workout, I'd do a set, leg extensions, and then I'd do some, in between sets, do some shoulder internal external rotation with the resistance band or shoulder extension with the resistance band. So I was doing those rehab exercises in between sets, which I found very beneficial as well. So that was week number 1. Week number 2, I went to an upper lower split, the exact same workout plan that we're following in the Lose Fat Get Jacked Inner Circle, where the members follow the exact same workout plan that I do each and every month. The leg workouts, I was doing the same as them. The upper body workouts, I was doing the same as them, but instead of doing bilateral movements where you're doing the exercises with both arms at the same time, I only did exercises with my left arm, my good arm. So if it was a seated row, I did a single arm cable row and worked that muscle. And then in between sets, I would do the internal external rotation using the resistance band and doing the rehab exercises for that. Same thing for the chest press. I just worked that one good side on a unilateral chest press machine and do some internal external rotation, some rehab exercises with the resistance band on my injured right side there. So that first week went great, continued with the self-massage every single day, started doing a little bit more stretching in the doorway, like keeping my elbows at a 90-degree angle and just reaching myself inwards there. Also kind of keeping my arm straight and lengthening it out there and stretching out the front of my shoulders, the front of my chest, so really opening things up there. So the bicep even got a good stretch there. Stretching out the back muscles by holding onto the door frame and leaning back a little bit, trying to open things up with the scapula there, and also reaching my arm across my body while grabbing onto a door frame as well to open up the delts and the back as well, the scapula there. So very gentle with that during that second week, but I found it very beneficial to kind of get that movement going. And then week number 3 is when I started incorporating unilateral movements with my injured arm. So I still did the rows with my good arm, the normal weight, and I found that it's probably about half the weight that I was able to use for the injured arm, but it still felt great to start building up the strength with the right arm. And really important to work through that full range of motion. So I was getting the full stretch on the row, getting the full contraction on the row, went over to the chest press and was I needed a little assistance with my weak arm to get it lifted up, and again, much lighter weight, but once it got going, it felt incredible. So I was slowly building up the strength. Actually, the strength was coming back pretty damn quick. It was really surprising me from workout to workout how that was progressing. Again, continued with the resistance band exercises to strengthen the rotator cuff muscles there as well. Again, continuing with the self-massage. And also in week number 3, I went back to yoga class. So getting in the heat, getting a good sweat, challenging my body in a different way was very beneficial as well. Week number 4, I started incorporating some dead hangs, which I find is, if you've got any kind of AC joint injury, I find dead hangs are such a priceless tool to us. Really helps open up the shoulder joint there, the AC joint, gives it a little bit more space to work with there. It's great for your arms, it's great for your back, your hips. It just really loosens everything up. So I was just dead hanging for as long as I could. I got the pull-up bar between my bedroom and my living room, so I do it multiple times throughout the day, trying to hold on as long as I can with both my palms facing forward or a neutral grip, palms facing each other. I found that incredibly beneficial. So again, any kind of AC joint injury, that's something I would try to work in to your overall routine, in addition to the rotator cuff exercises with either a resistance band or cables, or as well as like the self-massage. I think those are key things that can be very beneficial to you. And at this point, I also started kind of training a little bit more normal. I didn't need to necessarily just do the unilateral movements. I was building up a bit more strength where I could push like a dumbbell bench press with both dumbbells at the same time there. So that was really great. And as well, working in some light lateral raises through a full range of motion where my hands are going completely above my head. Lightweight, high repetitions. We're talking like 30 to 50 repetitions. Same thing for front raises and same thing for shoulder extensions. So now I built up the strength with the resistance band. The light dumbbells were very beneficial at this point as well. Week number 5, I started working in some more handstand practice, which I felt really good. I found the toughest thing wasn't pushing above my head, or handstand, it was like chest press or push-ups, I find like the tension in the front of my delts was like the people next to me could hear it grinding, especially when I was doing a push-up or a chaturanga in yoga class. You could hear those tendons grinding in there. So I really made a point to do some self-massage, even more so with a lacrosse ball in the door frame or a corner of a wall. That was, I found, the biggest area of tightness that I needed to work on. I also started working on more scapular retraction. So with the seated row, just squeezing the shoulder blades together, keeping the arms locked, or a vertical. So horizontal and vertical scapular retraction and protraction, trying to work those muscles, that joint through that full range of motion. So you're getting that full mobility, but also strength in those extreme ranges of motion as well. It was at this point after 6 weeks where momentum was like so great. I was experiencing such great progress that I kind of started coasting and doing the trigger point release therapy less often, less self massage, kind of taking it for granted. I kind of plateaued for a little while there. And finally, I realized that I've got to get back into this, and I fully committed to doing some mobility and flexibility and self massage every day for the past month, and progress has rapidly regained and really gaining some great strength and endurance when it comes to things like the handstands and all that stuff. So doing crow to handstand, crane to handstand, I've got a lot more strength in that joint, a lot more flexibility and mobility in that joint. So I find those are the key factors, making sure that you're strengthening it, you're working on your mobility, your flexibility, you're doing the self massage. And again, the dead hangs are absolutely crucial. So stick with it. Don't coast when the going gets good. Make sure that you're continuing to push through it and doing everything you can to make progress until you make a full recovery. I'm not fully recovered, I wouldn't say. I still got a little bit of ways to go, but it is progressing faster and faster the more I'm incorporating each of these in here. If you have found anything that has worked for you dealing with your shoulder separation or AC joint injuries, please take a moment to drop them down in the comment section below. Share your thoughts, share your feedback, share your insights. I would love to hear from you.